Hey everyone, I wanted to talk about a clever, if not unusual, situation that arose in the last game I played with Paddy, where we played Beastmen versus Wood Elves. So, in the past, I have had players wheel at any point during a charge against me, but it's not something that in my mind I think about a lot. Most people, when they charge, wheel at the start to maximize, and then they're able to push their unit straight ahead, and then they close the door, and that's where the units stay. In this game, I've spoken in an earlier tactics video about my shaman circulating around this tower, gaining cover for Viletide, but in this sense, it was set up early in the game to shoot its Viletide at those Wild Riders. I was exactly 15 inches away. I rolled well, but I was bested by a double six on the dispel, and I was stuck. So, that said, I wasn't thinking that I was going to get charged regardless. I thought I'd set myself up well, that I had cover, and that I had a line of sight to the Wild Riders, and that if they tried to charge me, they would wheel, and then they wouldn't be able to make it because of the intervening model or the impassable terrain of the tower. However, what happens on the turn after is that Paddy is able to charge me, and he, instead of wheeling straight away, moves forward probably 5 inches, far enough so the model that is rightmost on the image on the left is able to then draw a line of sight once it wheels to be able to hit that shaman with its charge range. It meant that I had to declare a flee response to the charge. Fortunately, I had flying carpet and I got away. It meant, however, that the next turn I was rolling on an 8 to save my Great Bray Shaman with its Hag Tree Fetish and my only caster in the game who was going to try to dispel movement spells, etc. And luckily enough for me, I did. And I rallied and was able to continue and move to the backside of that second tower, which was where the last video about magic missiles picked up, as I Vile-tided two Great Eagles and had another crack at the Treekin before the end. So, even though this didn't end well for Paddy, so much so, in the same sense, it was a very clever move. And I think it's worth remembering that as someone who's been critical of how charges work in Warhammer the Old World, there are options. And while I've always felt like the principle should favor the aggressor in the game, it would be ridiculous if I was able to see his unit and shoot it and he could not then charge against me as well. So while Wild Riders have movement 9 and Swift Stride, at the same time, I think it was a just result that they were able to reach that shaman, and in 28% of parallel universes, my shaman does not rally from that charge, and I probably lose the game without being able to gain all the points that that shaman preserved and won for me later in the game. So remember that you can wheel at any time during the charge, and try to be conscious of what your opponents can do as well. Thanks for watching.